This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with a Thermador double oven that needs the relay board replaced because the element is constantly in the full blast position. So we're going to turn off the breaker so we cut power to the double oven. Yeah, it's just constantly burning food because it turns on and it won't turn back off because the relay is stuck. So we're going to replace the relay board. So to do that, we'll open the top door and we're going to remove two Phillips head screws, upper left, upper right hand corner. They're holding the oven into the cabinet. There's also two in the same position down below in the lower left and lower right hand corner. To get that one, we open up the bottom one and we take out those two screws. It's a pretty easy procedure. Again, make sure you have turned off the power. Confirm the power is off by trying to use features on the oven. If nothing goes on, you know you've gotten the right breaker. There are typically two breakers that will power your oven, so you want to make sure both of them are off. So we're going to zip out those two screws at the bottom. We're going to use the bottom oven drawer to pull a little bit to kind of get the whole thing moving toward us. And just take your time here. We're going to then reach up and grab the upper frame. Hopefully it's been pulled out away from the cabinet by about ½ an inch so you can get your fingers in there, and you can pull a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right to get the entire oven to come out towards you. You don't want to pull out very far at all, only about maybe ½ a foot to 10 inches, and that's going to allow you to get to some screws on the top of the oven that are covering a sheet metal board that will allow you to get to the two relay boards. There's one for the upper oven and one for the lower oven. On the left hand side is the upper oven, right hand side is the lower oven. So you're going to take out these Phillips head screws here in the back, which are again about 10 inches from the front. I'm leaning the unit toward me slightly. Just be careful here that you don't pull it out so far that this whole oven's going to come towards you. If you exceed more than about a foot pulling towards you, it can get to a dangerous position. So we got that screw, take out that screw, and there's a couple of screws on the side, and then this whole plate's going to come off. And then you'll see it's pretty easy. The oven boards are just sitting right there. So you might want to replace your relay boards if the elements don't turn on at all and you've ruled out that the elements are okay, they have continuity, or if the elements just stay on all the time, then you know the relay's stuck. So we're pulling up on the board here, this sheet metal piece, to get it out of the way, and we'll see the two relay boards. Here on the left hand side is the upper oven, and off to my right is the lower oven. And there's just a bunch of wires here, and all you got to do is just take a series of photographs so you can see exactly where those wires go. You need to make sure you have this reference. Just take your time, make sure they're really good pictures. You can really see the angle that these wires go back into the board. And once we have these good pictures, we're going to just remove each one of these spade connectors. You can do it by hand, or I usually use a pair of needle nose pliers to help me. Kind of lift up and wiggle, and you can get them all off. And we would like to just replace this with a brand new board, but for most of these Thermador double ovens, they no longer make the relay boards. So we're going to send it out to a company that will revitalize the board with new components and then send it back to you, which costs about $150 and typically takes a couple of weeks. But there's 3 or 4 companies that do that. They're all pretty good, and it allows you to get your oven working again. Notice by my left hand behind it is a schematic. That's kind of fun to look at so you can see how the wires are run. But it's very important, I think, to take that photograph so that you can remember, because a couple of weeks will go by before you're able to put the board back in. In the interim, it's very important that you make sure nobody turns on the breaker, and the oven can't be used in that time. If the oven gets energized again, if somebody turns on the breaker and these wires are hanging loose, could cause a fire, could cause a short circuit. It's just very important that that breaker does not get turned on in the time it takes to get your new board. You may want to put a little warning sticker over at the breaker box or lock the breaker box. Just confirm that nobody can get in there and turn that breaker back on. And again, you got to be okay with the idea that you can't use the oven for a few weeks. The other choice is to buy a used board from a company that will, like eBay, that will give you a money back guarantee, that verify that the board is still working. The bad side of that is you don't know how long that board's going to last. A refurbished board has new relays, so you should get a nice 8 to 9 years of life out of that. But you may be in a position where you need the oven right away, and then it makes more sense to buy the used boards, which are typically around the same price as the 150. So I'm just reaching in, getting all these wires to let go with the needle nose pliers. Gives me a little help. This is typically up pretty high. I'm a tall guy, but if you need to stand on a stool so you can get a better leverage point, I think that's smart. So these are really good ovens, and these relay boards, you know, they over time relays tend to, it's an electromechanical device, they tend to stick. Sometimes they stick in the off position, sometimes they stick in the on position, and either way it basically disables your oven. So I'm pulling out these modular connectors, kind of wiggle them up and out. And then there's just one Phillips head screw holding the board in position. And once you take out that screw, you can just pull the board right out. Got all the wires off. So you can see there's that one little screw there. Loosen that one, and then pull the board to your right, and it'll lift out. I'm sorry, to your left, up and left, and that'll lift out. Here's one of the companies that can refurbish your board for you. We can see the website in the upper right hand corner and the address. And this is the part number for this particular Thermador oven. And again, this is for the upper oven. And same procedure for the lower oven, but it's on the right hand side. So once you get that all out, make sure again that no one's going to turn that power back on, because you can see these wires are just sitting there, and energized, it could cause some problems. I'm going to put this sheet metal cover back in position, and then I'm going to push the oven back in and secure the screws so that it's in a safe position until I get the new one. So I hope this gets your oven working again properly and gives you some more time. And please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance. Thanks for watching.